mother to 4 beautiful children, Meredith plays the balancing act to perfection as she effortlessly manages her family, her business, and still manages to have a great time in life. As CCO of Capital D Group and editorial director of online magazine D Journal, this gorgeous mama has many stories to share. So let's hear it from her. I've seen your journey and what a powerful journey you've had. But for my viewers, I would really like to know from the moment you landed in this city.
I moved with my husband 2006 and I took a post at Motivate Publishing as fashion and beauty editor at the time for Emirates Woman magazine, which was an incredible opportunity for me because in Australia I'd worked across so many different parts of the fashion industry, from PR, journalism, having my own label, a lot of fashion styling. That role really allowed me to bring everything that I had done, you know, for the past 5 or 6 years in Sydney together in a coherent space. But not only that, I was able to add a lot of my formal training as a creative director to the magazine, which at the time, you know, it needed a bit of reinvigorating of energy. So
at that time,
it was fantastic to be able to come in and actually make a change. Then I went on to become the group kind of fashion and beauty director, which was brilliant because I got to oversee an entire team and work between commercial and editorial objectives in my role, which was very fulfilling for me. I worked at Motivate for those 3 years, but of course we were so itchy, Ayaad and I, to start a business here.
And so how did the idea come about? And of course, as you said, you and Ayaad were always, you know, you always had this itch to start something on your own. But when you're actually starting it, it's a different ballgame altogether.
Of course, it was a major risk.
Totally.
So Ayaad was flexible at that time. He was freelancing as a photographer, but he basically couldn't find anywhere to shoot when he arrived. So for the first few years that we were here, he was using these terrible old studios that existed, but they were extremely bad quality, extremely poorly serviced. The equipment was not very good. So, and it seemed kind of an obvious thing. Initially,
this
Capital
place needed
D,
something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Ayaad actually started it as his own studio. But very rapidly we started to see potential beyond this, you know. So when we opened the door, it was the 2 of us and 1 studio assistant. And then, you know, it just grew on from there.
So 8 years back, you started Capital D.
Exactly.
And 8 years down the line, you've grown into this huge place that doesn't only, you know, provide services of photography, but so many other things because you've diversified.
Absolutely.
How did it grow and, you know, how did you sustain it? Because I always feel it's easy to start something, especially a business in this city. But to sustain it is a different story altogether.
Everything that we have done has come from an existing client's need. So they've enjoyed working with us in one area and they've said, hey, can you help me in X, Y, or Z? Or we have looked to the market and seen that there has been a real requirement and we felt obliged to provide that service. We felt we were the right people to do it because of our expertise. So if you can see all of the things that we do, they all are, you know, interconnected. It's a network of services around a content kind of heartbeat. And today it's not just photography, it's film, it's a lot of video content for online, digital online content. But we do other things. We provide animation, we provide, you know, voiceovers or radio commercials if they're required. So now it's a question of finding the right talent and providing that production backbone, which of course that's a long way from where we came from being in the studio and working on the shoots ourselves, but a very necessary path for Capital D Studio to be able to bloom and have its own kind of importance within the business world as well.
Totally. What were your biggest challenges when you started off and how did you overcome them?
Well, they change all the time, as you know.
Yes.
I think as we started, the challenges that we had in the early days were about employing, managing that, managing
and
HR.
finding the right kind of talent.
Yep.
Yeah.
We used to laugh about Capital D being Capital D University. Because people would just come in and get trained and then they'd move on and they would go work for our clients or our competition, which is
I guess as an entrepreneur, you just have to be used to it. Right?
Well, the funny thing was, in the early stages, we didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
You know, you feel very shy. And that's also a big challenge, I think, as a young entrepreneur. You think, you know, maybe I'm doing something wrong or...
No.
You feel a bit strange.
I know exactly what you mean because I've gone through the same thing and you still keep going through it. But initially you feel like, oh my God, maybe my company is not good
maybe
enough.
I'm not good
the way
and
did now
something.
You think like, okay, you know, it's
but we got to a tipping point with that. And there was one dinner we were having with some other business owners happened to be at the table, and I remember we all just started sharing.
I know, I share it with all the entrepreneurs all the time.
And at that point we were so released from that burden, and from there it's actually just got better and better. So today we have an awesome team, and we understand that people sometimes need to leave. But I think that revolving door of the early days, it's very much behind us.
As a team, you guys have also kind of revolutionized the fashion content here in this part of the world, I feel. And you constantly keep doing that with your magazine and the other contents that you're developing. How do you keep on top of everything?
I don't think Capital D would be the same kind of a company if Ayaad and I did not come so much from a fashion background.
Right.
It does make us make decisions, even financial decisions, based on the quality of the content. I think the passion for being from talent side and from being in the studio, it's something that's very ingrained in you. It's hard to let go. Even as you become more of a business person, the quality, it's paramount. So for us, fashion content, even though maybe in terms of the jobs that we have, it might be less financially gratifying. It's very personally gratifying to be able to be at the forefront of that kind of content development. And we're so excited about Vogue opening and different brand collaborations that are happening now, and more campaigns being shot here for international brands even. Some of these big international projects are extremely exciting. For us.
And you get to learn so much when you're collaborating with international companies.
Absolutely, you get insights into how they do business, you get insights into their taste, into their production style, you know, just their needs and wants. It can be so different from what we're asking for.
Yeah, and sometimes just changing the perspective can take your business to a different level.
We have people on our team who are able to address those kind of clients with the same passion, because part of Capital D brand DNA, one of our main pillars is enthusiasm.
Right.
So if we cannot address any project with that enthusiasm, with the right person on it, you know,
and then you don't come up with that kind of result too.
It just doesn't feel like a Capital D project at that point. So we need to hold on to those brand values.
You have 4 beautiful kids, a full family, and such a huge business. How do you balance everything as a woman?
Honestly, I think with a lot of realistic acceptance of...
That you can't be everywhere every time.
Like, let's just be real about this whole balance thing.
Let's not be a superwoman.
But not sacrifices, I make choices accordingly. Sometimes something's got to give here, sometimes something's got to give there. I think what's the real superpower is learning how to be very time efficient, how to spot talent in people and get the most out of them. Because I'm not really one that wants to cross anything off my wish list.
Exactly.
So we really got to make all of, you know, this situation work for us as working moms.
You know, and I always say, as long as we're being a right role model to our children, we are doing great.
Yes, I agree with you. I don't think I was ever the stay-at-home mom type. I'm so lucky and privileged to have had 4 awesome kids, but also I think they benefit from me doing things that I enjoy.
True, absolutely. You're a happier person, and when you're happy, you're making everyone else around you happy. So what are the tips you would like to give women entrepreneurs?
My number one is to just learn how to leave the emotions out of the business decision-making process. I think for a long time, I got quite emotional about things. I know what you mean, yeah. I think it's normal. Yeah. We're human beings and we're women. So I think it's very normal for that. But if you can learn to take the emotional part out of the process, it actually releases you so much. The clarity of making those tough decisions, it's all just then about the good of the business, the good of the brand. True. It sounds simple.
But it's difficult to do, but you learn that over years and you learn that with experience.
It's easy to feel burdened by all of this stuff, but at the end of the day, I mean, when you get to a stage that things are moving so quick that you just don't have time for that anymore. But I do see in the team or at, you know, people starting their businesses, they're so worried about not upsetting other people. At some point you have to let all of this go, and people will either understand or they won't, and that's okay.
Exactly, that they'll be with you or not be, but you know, you cannot keep everyone happy.
No, no. It's okay.
Thank you, and thanks to you. I think we have this mutual admiration towards each other, which is great. It's a mutual respect.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yay.